I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I think he wanted to set an example, and just the fact that he believed, that she should be treated just like everybody else, his sense of justice. Well, the Carters have always stood for that, justice and equality, and I think they wanted her to know that, to feel that, and not to be just the privileged, and to be able to work with all kinds of kids in all kinds of races and ethnic backgrounds and environments. And so I'm sure they wanted her to get a sense of, different cultures, different people, and people who didn't have money. That was a public school.
Amy made it feel normal because she would do her work, finish her work, and then read her book. She always had a book on the corner of her desk. She never asked me what she could do. She just read. She wasn't a pestering child. She'd been in public school in Atlanta, I guess. She just was a very unassuming child. She was very quiet, very studious, and she didn't like being on TV. If TV cameras were handy, she would put her head in her book.
Stevens was really a neighborhood school, and it was a nice school. And the teachers had been there a long, long time, and they looked after the children. I mean, we have every kind of affair you could think of to look after the children, from Thanksgiving Day, every kind of program, Then as time went on, there were less and less children at the school because the office buildings were there. And we were dropped so low that we would have been closer. So I said, we got to do something to build the enrollment up. Let's do a program after school. So we said, okay, we set it up, and we'd call it an extended day. In the meantime, while we're coming up with all this idea, President Carter says he is going to put his daughter in a public school. And we said, oh my God. So that was great because we had a before and after school program, which he of course wanted. Later we found out Amy was very lonely at the White House and wanted to stay. So that's how the extended day came about, and Amy was right there, one of the first little people going in it. And the enrollment went up to like 100 or more. I mean, it just zipped. And especially when they heard the president's daughter, we said, And so that was it. The school was saved.
At first, I wasn't aware of them, and I was like, this is strange. Thought I would have had to go through high security clearance. Here I am taking a piñata in. It could have had a bomb, I'm carrying instruments with guitars in. Nobody's stopping me. But then I began to realize how clever they were, because they were very aware of where she was and what was going on. But they did not make their presence noticeable. So it was pretty good. But it was chaotic for the school. And a lot of nerves, because my class was active. I wasn't just going to give them vocabulary in Spanish. We were going to act things out. There was a little Brazilian boy named Paulo, and he was either very interested in Amy or always trying to bother her. I couldn't figure out whether he was disrupting the class or just really interested in her, and she wouldn't give him the time of day. But he would always pounce on her. Like I would be teaching them something about vamos a nadar, that means swim, and they would jump, and he would and at that moment was always when the Secret Service man would walk into the room and find, her holding his hair or somebody it's just in this physical entanglement. So I remember vividly.
They built a tree house in one of the beautiful trees on the lawn. And when we went to the picnic, of course, the children were all over the treehouse climbing. I thought, no one got hurt, thank God. But after the picnic, I don't know if Paul remembers it, she invited them all into her bedroom to see her room at her house. She called the White House her house. That was her house. And they all went, and again I had fearful that something would break or they would sit in the chair and, do something, but they all came back civilized. And I think the butlers were very helpful inside and getting her in and out of her room to show them her room, On TV yesterday, it showed a picture of the President Trump in his Oval Office. I looked through the window and there was that tree blooming that the tree house had been in right behind the President's office. It's a big window kind of rounding, and it showed the tree. And it made me think of Amy and the children in that tree house, how much they enjoyed it.